picture a dragon. Go ahead. You're probably seeing it already. Wings spread wide, a mountain of stolen gold, a village in flames, and some armored knight charging in to run a sword through its heart. For most of the world, that is the whole story. The dragon is the villain. The dragon is the thing you kill to become a hero. But what if I told you there is an entire tradition where the dragon is not the monster, but the one protecting you from the monster? Deep in the heart of Slavic mythology lives a creature that turns everything you think you know upside down. He breathes fire. He has wings, scales, and eyes like burning rubies. By every appearance, he should be the beast in the story. And yet, to the people who told these tales, he was something else entirely. A noble guardian, a master of the heavens, and even the secret ancestor of their greatest heroes. The old Slavs believed this dragon had, in their words, more soul than the dragons of any other land. He didn't burn villages. He defended them. He didn't hoard the harvest. He fought in the clouds to save it. So today, we're going to meet the dragon the rest of the world forgot. We'll uncover where he comes from, the war he fights in the storm clouds high above the fields, and why entire bloodlines of warriors claimed his fire ran in their veins. And if you love forgotten myths, the old gods and monsters the world left behind, do me a favor before we begin. Tap that subscribe button. It's the simplest way to keep these ancient stories alive. All right, this is the story of the noble dragon of the Slavs. At first glance, he looks exactly like the dragon you imagined. He is massive, winged, covered in scales, with a long sweeping tail and those unmistakable eyes, red as rubies. His breath is living flame, so hot that if he comes down to rest in a dry field, he can set the whole thing ablaze without meaning to. But here is where he breaks from every other dragon you know. He can change his shape. He often takes the form of a young man wreathed in fire, sparks trailing behind him as he moves. In the old heroic songs, he frequently walks among people as a brave warrior, hiding his true nature behind a human face. And this is the real heart of who he is. He isn't a mindless beast. He has a personality, moody, proud, sometimes difficult, but at his core, good. He lives alone in the highest, most unreachable mountains. He keeps to his caves and only emerges on clear, starlit nights when he soars across the heavens. And when the people below look up and see a streak of light cutting through the dark sky, a shooting star, a falling meteor, they know. That is him. The dragon is flying tonight. So, where does a creature like this come from? The answer is one of the strangest and most beautiful parts of the whole legend. He is not born a dragon, he earns it. The old belief held that the dragon begins his life as an ordinary snake, a simple, low creature of the earth. But if that snake can stay completely hidden from human eyes for 40 long years, some say 9 years, some say 100, it transforms. It rises from the ground and ascends into the sky as a dragon. Think about what that means. A creature of the cold earth and the shadows becomes a being of celestial fire, in the same way the sun climbs out of the darkness of night each morning. In some lands, the story takes a different path. It begins in the water. A carp or some other great fish lives quietly until it reaches a grand old age. Then, one day it sprouts wings and lifts out of the river to become a dragon. And these waterborne dragons carry a special sign, a mark in the shape of a cross upon their heads, proof of their sacred nature. Earth, water, then sky and flame. The dragon is transformation itself, the lowest things of the world made noble, made radiant, made divine. Now we come to his most important job of all, and the reason the people loved him so fiercely. The dragon is the protector of the harvest. To understand this, you have to know about his enemies. Where the dragon is noble and friendly to humankind, there are other creatures in the sky that are pure greed and destruction, storm demons that drive the black hail clouds across the land to smash the crops and ruin everything the people have grown. These are the true monsters of the Slavic sky. And when the heavens darken and the storm rolls in heavy with hail, the dragon goes to war. Sometimes he flies up in his own dragon form. Sometimes a special man, a dragon in human shape, falls into a deep sleep, and his very soul rises out of his body to join the battle in the clouds. Up there, in the thunder and the lightning, the dragon hurls his fiery arrows at the storm demons, driving them back, breaking the hail apart, forcing them to release the rain they were trying to steal. He is fighting, quite literally, for the survival of his people. And this is why the people feared losing him above all else. If a dragon ever abandoned a region, if he flew away and never came back, they believed that land was doomed. The harvests would fail, misfortune would follow, because now there was no one left up there in the heavens fighting for them. There is one more side to the dragon, and it brings his story right down to earth, into the bloodlines of real legendary heroes. The dragon, you see, was a great lover of women, especially the most beautiful and pure-hearted young women of the villages. He would come to them at night, slipping down through the chimney as a single spark of fire before rising up in the form of a handsome man. And from these unions, a special kind of person was born, the dragon-descended heroes. These were the giants of Slavic legend, warriors of impossible strength and deep wisdom, gifts passed down from their fiery fathers. And you could recognize them if you knew what to look for. They carried the dragon's mark on their bodies, tiny wings tucked beneath their arms, a birthmark shaped like a snake, or a tuft of wolf's hair growing on the arm. These heroes were the ultimate champions of their people, and it forms a perfect mirror. The dragon fathers defend the people from the storms in the sky, while their human sons defend the people from their enemies on the ground. The same protective fire, burning in two worlds at once. Let's step back and look at the strange, foggy border between this dragon and the dragon of the West, because the contrast tells us something profound. In the Western imagination, the dragon is the enemy of God and of man. It is chaos given a body. It is, quite often, a stand-in for the devil himself, pure evil to be destroyed. But in the Slavic world, the dragon stands on the other side entirely. He belongs to the clean and holy forces. He is aligned with God, with the saints, with the light. Sure, now and then, he might get greedy for a little gold or carry off a maiden. He's not perfect. But his fundamental purpose, written into his very nature, is to defend. This idea ran so deep that it shaped how people saw themselves in the darkest of times. During the long centuries of foreign occupation, the people cast their oppressors as the storm demons, the destroyers, the bringers of ruin, and themselves, their own leaders and protectors. They were the dragons, the noble guardians. So here, the dragon is not a creature to be feared and slain. He becomes a national symbol, the very ideal of strength, justice, and resistance. The astonishing thing is that this dragon never really left. His memory is written into the land itself. All across Slavic territory, you'll find places that still carry his name. Whole towns named for the dragon, mountain peaks that bear his title, and quiet springs where the dragons were said to come down and bathe. The map itself remembers him. And he survived in tradition through a kind of quiet merging with Christian faith. His great duties, commanding the weather, battling the storm demons in the clouds, were gradually handed over to powerful saints, the holy figures who came to rule the thunder and the sky in the people's prayers. But the most charming trace of all is something you've probably done yourself, without ever knowing where it came from. That old custom, spotting a falling star and quickly making a wish, that is the dragon. For the ancient Slavs, a streak of light across the night sky meant their guardian was flying overhead, scattering luck and protection to every soul lucky enough to catch sight of him. In the end, the noble dragon of the Slavs is far more than a creature of old stories. He is a portrait of the soul of a people. He represents a remarkable belief that the terrifying forces of nature don't only have to destroy, that they can be turned, harnessed, made to protect the community instead. He is the fiery grandfather of the nation, the guardian of the fields, the spirit that climbs into the storm and simply refuses to let it win. When you understand this dragon, you glimpse a whole different world, one where the line between human and beast blurs into something noble, where a dragon is not a monster to be slain, but a hero to be honored. The high peaks are quiet now, the old songs are sung less often than they once were, but the dragon is still up there, in the spirit of a people who have always looked to the fiery heavens to find their strength. So the next time you see a star fall across the night sky, you might just know who's flying overhead. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you want a guardian like this watching over your land, or do you prefer your dragons as the monster in the story? Tell me down in the comments. And here's a question to chew on. Which forgotten creature of myth should we bring back to life next? Drop the name, and it might just become the next video. If this story gave you chills, give it a like. It genuinely helps these old legends reach more people. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss the next myth we dig up from the dark. And if you've got time right now, that video on your screen is calling your name. Until next time, keep looking up at the heavens. You never know who might be flying past.